the things that I've been praying about, thinking about over the past many months, actually, as I was praying and thinking about what God would have us to do in Kokomo Urban Outreach as we move toward the future. As I was doing that, reading some books and reading scriptures and praying and seeking God, in the midst of my prayer time, I began to sense God speaking to me in a specific way. And we just celebrated the outreach, 10 years of work in the community, working with those that are less fortunate than most of us, providing food and clothing and all kinds of things to help people have a normal life. It came to my prayer time that as I saw people coming over and over and over again, multiple times, over 10 years, I'm thinking, why aren't they getting better? Why are things changing for them? So as I prayed about that, the Lord kind of spoke to my heart and to my mind, and the Holy Spirit was speaking in a powerful way to me. It was like this. It was like I was on a cruise ship. I had lots of resources because I have a lot of folks like yourselves that help the outreach to provide things to people. And I was in the front of the cruise ship, and I would see somebody in the water, just kind of treading water, struggling, trying to keep afloat, and really struggling. And so I would yell down to them and say, "Hey, what do you need?" And they would say, "I need some food." And so we'd throw them some food, and we'd move on to the next person and say, "Hey, what do you need?" And if I say clothing, we'd throw them some clothes. "Hey, what do you need?" Whatever they needed, we try to give it to them. But then what would happen was when I would come back around in this big boat full of resources, I would see the same person. And they would do the same thing. And I would yell again. I would just keep giving them what they needed until finally, after going around many times, the people that were in the water quit trying to pedal. They were trying to dog paddle, keep themselves afloat. They were just waiting for somebody to come around to give them something else. And I really struggled with that a lot because Jesus is very clear in Matthew 25, the part that wasn't read, where he said you're supposed to feed the hungry and give clothes to those that need clothing and visit prisoners and pray for all those kind of things, which we all do, and we want to do that. But something didn't feel right. So then that verse that was just read struck me, where Jesus says, "When you do it to the least of these, you do it to me." And so then I started picturing all those people just treading water, just struggling to keep going. I pictured them as Jesus. I thought, if that was Jesus in the water, if that was Jesus struggling, would I just throw things at him? And I realized, no, if I really believed that they were Jesus, I would try to pull them up and try to help them to give back, to be a part of the community, to be part of an abundant life that Jesus offers, to help them out, and not just keep giving them things. And so in January of 2016, we started this new initiative in the outreach where we want to help people. We want to give food to those that need food, and we want to help people with their needs, but at the same time, we want to help them out. So we're not continuously struggling over and over and over again, because that's not even right. There's nothing right about that. It didn't feel right to me. And so what we did was we shifted gears, changed it up. And now almost everything we do has an element we call CTC. An element we call CTC, and CTC stands for this. The C stands for coaching, the T stands for tools or training, and the second C stands for community. So we want to work with folks who struggle by coaching them, by giving them the tools or the training they need to be able to take care of themselves, and then to help them be in community together where they're helping one another. And so probably the biggest change that was made fairly quickly was at our food pantry, or at least our main food pantry. At our main food pantry in the past, you would come in and register and you get food, and we would just give you the food and say, go be well and go on your way. Now that we've shifted gears, we do things differently. and it's kind of permeated throughout the whole organization. And so what we do now is this. You fill out a form, and on the form put your name and address, all the things we need. But then underneath that, there's 3 questions. We ask you 3 questions. The first question is this. Why do you need food today? What circumstance in your life has caused you to need food today? And some people say they lost their job. And we have neighbors that are just volunteers, they're just neighbors like you and I, and they sit down with the folks and they say, well, you know, look at the questions, they're called connectors. And so they say something like, I need a job, I don't have a job. Then the connector suggests, why don't you go to the KUO Job Club that meets every Friday at noon for lunch. Have lunch and talk to a coach and get a coach and help them coach you and give you the tools that you need to get a job. And while you're around the table, you're building community. And you're sharing jobs that you know that are open with other people, even though you may not want to be a server at a restaurant. Maybe somebody in your group would like to be a server at a restaurant, so you can share that information. So there's community being formed. Or maybe you say you need food today because you can't stretch your dollars, your food dollars, because after you pay your wages so low, after you pay your rent and pay your utilities and car payment and all the different things you have to pay, there's no money left over for food. So our connector will say, hey, we have this great thing, great deal, that you should become involved with maybe. At least offer it. And that is a food co-op. A food co-op is where you come together with a group of other people. You plan a week's worth of food, 7 meals that will feed 4 people each. It costs you $20. There is a cost. But you're going to get 7 meals for $20. And if you use food stamps, we'll give you a grocery list of $20 worth of food. You use your $20 worth of food stamps and bring the food with you. And then share. So every Friday at 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock, we have a planning meeting. Whoever wants to do the food co-op comes together. They plan their food. If you're going to use food stamps, the director of that might say, bring $20 with a hamburger. Let me share with everybody in the group. And then you cook in community. And you share struggles. And you pray for each other. And you help each other along. Plus you get 7 meals for $20. And you have some skin in the game, and you're feeling good about yourself because you did it yourself. Plus everybody that comes the first time they come, they get a crock pot. So when the parents go to work in the morning, they put the food in the crock pot. When they come home at night, the food's ready, it's hot, it's cheaper, it's healthier. And their children are, sometimes kids go a little crazy, a little nutty when they get home and you're tired. And it's easier just to throw peanut butter and jelly on the table. Now you have a healthy meal, much cheaper. If you don't have any money at all, right now you can come to the Cheap Eats and we'll show you how to buy things at the grocery store and make multiple meals out of that. So that's the first question. The second question on the form says this. What do you have a passion for? What do you like to do that you can show someone else how to do? I believe that everyone, it doesn't matter who you are, everyone has skills, abilities, and gifts that they can share with somebody else. So instead of just taking the resources out of the community, what would happen if you were actually become part of the community and become a resource of the community? So that's the second question. The third question is, what would you like to learn? What are 2 or 3 things you'd like to learn? And so what happens is after you fill that form out, you're pulled back to a room that looks like it's a big room. It looks like kind of like a Starbucks, so there's comfortable chairs, and you sit with a neighbor, a connector. We're not social workers, we're not case managers. We just want to connect you to resources, and we want you to be connected as a resource. So you have conversations with folks, and you're talking with them and listening to their stories. So we have one lady, a Hispanic lady came in, and she said, I can teach somebody to speak Spanish. And I would like to learn, one thing I'd like to learn was to be able to read better. I'm not kidding, just 5 people later, a guy comes in, he said, what can I teach somebody or show somebody else how to do? He said, I can tutor reading. What do you want to learn? I'll learn how to speak Spanish. Connection. Connecting people together. They also get food, but when we talk to people at the very end, after they go through and get their food, we ask them how their experiences were today, and they say things like, somebody listened to my story. I felt like a person. Somebody's trying to understand why I need help. In the past, you would come through and get your food, which was good, but it wasn't It was helpful in that way, but I wasn't listening to stories and being with people. Probably the biggest story that we heard was a woman came in and she was talking with the connector. She didn't fill out her form. And so they said, is there anything you can show somebody else how to do? And she said, no. She said, I know that I am totally worthless. My dad, growing up, told me I was worthless. My ex-husband, for years, told me I was worthless. And now my grown-up children tell me that I'm worthless. All I do is stay at home because I'm worthless. And the connector said to her, you're a child of God. You're not worthless. And then the connector said, would you like to volunteer here? And the woman started crying. She said, you mean you're asking me to come here and work with you? Nobody's ever asked me to do anything before. She said she would. And so the connector called me. I was in the back. The connector called me, and I went up to where she was at. And they introduced me, and he said, glad you're volunteering with us, and just, being nice. And she started sobbing. And she said through her sobbing, she said, you're the head of this pantry? I said, what kind of, yeah? And she goes, and you're talking to me? I said, sure, I'm just like you. We're people. We're people made in the image of God. And because we're made in the image of God, we're loved by God and by each other, and nobody's better than anybody else. You have worth. You have sacred worth. She wept even harder. And so in the midst of talking with people and caring for people, we're able to help people pull themselves up. Not pull themselves up, but we work with them. We're trying not to do things for them, for folks that are struggling. We're working with them, coaching, giving them tools, training, and helping them be part of a community that so many people feel disengaged from. One of the things that I've often felt called to do is I felt called, even for a long time, to be a voice for those with need, for the under-resourced, the poor in the community. And I realized just last week that I'm not called to be the voice because they're talking. I'm called to amplify their voice so it can be heard. And when we do that, and we realize that everyone we see, there's nobody you've ever locked eyes on to that Jesus doesn't love. And there's no one you've ever seen that's struggling in any kind of way that isn't Jesus. The scripture says, when you do it to the least of these, you do it to me. And so think about how we treat others. Think about how we help others. And sometimes when we help others, we hurt them unintentionally. Our mission now at the outreach is to connect people to Christ, to each other, and become a resource in the community as they connect with the resources in the community. It's my prayer for all of us that we'll remember that when we do it to the least of these, do it to Jesus. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor Jeff. And we pray God's blessings on urban outreach as it grows and changes our community. Will you please join with me in the hymn of discipleship, which is on the screen, Father, I Adore You. And this is the time that if you feel that God is calling you to confess your faith in Jesus Christ, or to join Southside Christian Church as a member or as an associate member, I invite you to come forward and stand with me as we sing this song together. Let's stand and sing, Father, I Adore You. seated.